Phil Twyford.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. So speaking about part 3, there's really only one matter here to discuss. So the Principal Act is the Housing Restructuring and Tenancy Matters Act 1992. And what this Part 3 does is it amends that Principal Act with a provision that's designed to provide some certainty and reassure people that the provisions of the Public Works Act 1981, that is sections 40 to 42 of the Public Works Act, do not apply and have never applied to the sale or disposal blah, 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 but to state housing land. Thank you. Now, this provision should be dedicated to the Honourable Dr. Nick Smith, because he has form when it comes to the disposal of state housing land and the buyback provisions attached to that land. And as followers of this issue will note, he got himself into a terrible pickle last year with his vacant Crown land project that was unveiled with wonderful fanfare in the budget and a promise of 500 hectares of vacant government land that would be developed for housing in Auckland. And what happened because of the buyback provisions, not dissimilar to those that exist within the Public Works Act, but that exist in this case in treaty settlement agreements by a number of the iwi in Auckland. The good doctor failed to negotiate or consult, I should say, with iwi who have those rights of first refusal and got himself into a terrible mess to the extent that 4 months passed after his grand budget announcement and he found himself in court with Ngāti Whātua and Tainui and others who, through their legal action and negotiation, were able to extract some pretty amazing concessions from the Minister of Building and Housing by way of giving them first dibs as development partners on all that land, the vacant Crown land, and even more remarkable actually, a commitment that the government would provide, I think in one of the cases, 30% of the houses in those projects to be affordable, which is something that this government hates to do. So it just shows you what a mess Dr. Smith got into by failing to properly take into account the buyback provisions that are found within the Public Works Act, but in this case existed within treaty settlement agreements around the right of first refusal. So I think it's probably it's good to get some clarity on that in this case. There would be a lot of people wondering, for example, if with the national government intending to dispose of so much publicly owned state housing land, whether or not much of that land, or probably a significant chunk of it, would have been acquired under the Public Works Act, quite possibly, and people would be wondering whether the buyback provisions in the Public Works Act applied. But what this does is basically makes it very clear that those provisions don't apply to state housing land and never have. So I think that's probably all there is to say about that provision, Mr. Chairman.
The question is that Part 3 stand part. Those who are of that opinion will say aye. Contrary opinion will say no. The ayes have it. The party vote call for? Yeah, all right. Party vote is called for. Clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
32 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
12 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 in favour.
United Future.
1 in favour.
The ayes are 63, the noes are 58. Part 3 will stand part. We now